there's nothing that people know about me necessarily that's of note either, so that's all right. Okay, so CNC Promotional Products. Just a bit of background. I've been working in the promotions industry since 1981. Started it with an importer and worked with it there for about 23 years, and then decided, I think like most people who run their own business, well, if they run it, well, maybe I can do it. I'll come up with my own ideas and sort of see how it runs. So for the last 14 years, we've been running CNC Promotional Products. What we do is we deal with clients wide and varied. So it could be education sector, could be single operation businesses, large corporates. We deal with state and federal as well as local government across a broad range of products. Our website, which we relaunched at the end of 2014, has probably got in excess of 150,000 items on the website, and I sometimes laugh when someone says to me, what's the price on? Because it's depending on what the item is, what the decoration is, when do they need it, how many do they want, and how many colour print have they got involved. It's many and varied options. So what we've tried to do over the last number of years is make it easier and make an easy experience for clients to find out what they want and try to sort out from the myriad of products. Today what we're going to concentrate on is corporate wear. So one of the, aside from all the other products you may have when you turn up to an event, you want to have something where you are branded yourself. So whether you're walking around a trade show, you're going to an event, you're going to an expo, you're attending a conference as a delegate, you want to have something where you are identified in terms of your business. A couple of things, logos. So what is a logo and why do we have them? So you look at a couple of brands here, we've got Nike, Adidas, Ralph Lauren and Pierre Cardin. Now, why do we have logos on products? Whenever you'll hear people say, oh, I only wear such and such, or I bought a, or they go down the red carpet and I'm wearing such and such. It's because it comes with an identification of what that brand represents. So a couple of things in terms of what are they? They're a branding, they give you the indication of what the company is, what they stand for. So therefore when you are, as a prospective supplier to someone looks at your name and they can, they've listened to who you are, then they can reflect that into what your logo is. Why do we wear them? Because we stand out with Nike. We think of Nike as being a premium brand, as with the other three or four. And we look at them as being reliable, it's consistent, it's a quality, and we like wearing them because we like to be associated with successful quality items, and that's how we like to reflect ourselves. What does the logo mean? Well, there's a lot of things you can read into it, like the Nike, the tick, the Ralph Lauren polo. Okay, it started out from being polo gear. And what does it, and then if you think about when you're designing your logos, what does your logo mean to you? So what does it stand for? And hopefully it has the same reflection as the rest of those logos. It's standing about you're reliable, you're knowledgeable, you're sort of a peer in your industry, and that, again, that's how we all really want to be received. Okay, so there's a whole range of items that you can use it for. A couple of people think, oh, look, I did the City to Surf if you're in Sydney, or I did a Bay to Brisbane, or Brisbane to Bay, whichever it is, up here. Really, I can't really think of why else I would have why do I have a big logo on a shirt? Well, it's not about a big logo on the shirt, it's about having your corporate attire. So you're at an event like this, you have a logo, someone can see who you are, and so as you're walking around the street, someone might just happen to glance and see your logo. It gives you free advertising like you have on a car, so you have a full car advertising. Why not have it on your shirt? So if you're doing that fun run, make sure you've got your logo on the front and maybe a big cool me on the back or a call to action on the back. So there's a huge range of those. You know, if you turn up to a corporate event, so you're attending a trade show, you might want to have something which is business attire when you're there during the exhibition. But then after hours, you might want to you're going to the bar for casual drinks, you might want to just put on a polo shirt. Vice versa, it may be a casual So like a sporting expo, and you want to have a polo shirt, and then you're going out to the corporate event or the awards function, you want to have something which is a little bit more of a corporate attire. So we look after everything in terms of from your t-shirts, singlets, race singlets, polo shirts, right through to your corporate wear. So to get your logo ready for putting on the products, you've got to think about a couple of things. There's a huge range of options. This is just a couple of them. And what DPI stands for is dots per inch. So if you imagine you get a pen and you just stab it onto a page, and if you can get 50 dots into that inch, you can actually see every one of those dots. That's how coarse the logo will end up. And if you're looking at doing something like a dye sublimation, that's what comes out of your digital photocopier. So 600 DPI. So you can imagine that means very, very detailed. So when you're putting your logo together, if you've got things where we call screen work or tone work or vignette toning, it means that you're going from a solid and you're going down to, graduating down to dots. If that isn't going to look really good with big chunky dots sitting there, then get away from it. So think about when you're going to do your logo, is it something where you're going to have solid features like up here, where it's going to mean nice and strong colour, or you're going to be able to achieve something reasonable if you want to do something like a screen print with your logo. So when you get to things like dye sublimation, just to make it a little bit clear for people, dye sublimation is like your football jersey. So you take a polyester and you actually press onto the garment, and then the logo becomes part of the garment. So it's all one. You've then got digital transfer, which is you print onto a transfer medium, which then gets heat pressed onto the garment. So you might end up with a giant square of your logo. You've got direct-to-garment printing, which is again like a printer. You put the garment onto, and it actually prints like you would with a colour photocopier or colour printer. Think about getting onto logo sizings, thinking about what you want to do, and again thinking how you're going to set your logo up. If your logo isn't going to work going onto a shirt in around about a 60mm diameter or 60 by 60, then think about what you've got to do to either simplify your logo, change the number of colours you have in it, or change the amount of detail. So standard, if you're going to do something on the front, sort of 50 by 50, 60 by 60, you can go up to 100 by 100, but if you're thinking about small size shirts, large size shirts, it's going to look huge onto a small shirt. When we're talking screen printing, you've got huge areas. You can go 250 by 300, which is larger than A4 page. You can think about the amount of detail you want to put onto that. Again, less is more. Have a corporate logo, have a call to action, maybe a phone number, maybe a website. So think about also, if your logo might look sensational on a white background, what does it look like on black? Or what does it look like on green? Or gee, I like that fluoro lime polo. How's that going to work with my logo where it's orange? Is that going to stand out too much? Is it going to work out as a reversed? You might want to be able to cut down the number of colours, so you might want to take a green shirt and reverse the logo out, so you're actually taking one of the colours out and using the green, which is in the shirt. Does it work as you're setting up your corporate profile? Now, Kay will do a lot of work in terms of setting up logos, and can then set up a corporate profile for you, and it can be in a range of sizes. You might want to have, as with one of our unis, or a number of universities, they want to have a clearance around where their logo is, where if there is another department or department of the university, it can't be within X amount of distance of the actual branding of the logo. It also can't be smaller than a certain size. Now, for that reason, it's so that the clarity of the logo is most prominent and the item is most prominent as well. We've got 2 minutes to go. Jeez, there we go. Okay. Couple of things, make sure it's the right fit. Don't go with you might think, yeah, look, let's just get a really cheap t-shirt, let's get a really cheap polo shirt, let's get it really cheap. Does that reflect on who your brand is, and does it reflect on who your business is? If it doesn't, don't. Nothing worse than walking around going, oh, Jesus, they are hideous. And we've done them for a number of clients where they say, look, put it in the, I know they were cheap, but we put them in the wash, and geez, after 3 they look really horrible. We had to chuck them out. Whereas if they'd actually spent a little bit more, or bought less, but of a better quality, then it would have looked a hell of a lot better. So don't sell your logo short. And again, think about when you're doing your logo, what does it say about your business, and therefore don't sell it short by putting it onto a product. Okay, we're just going to, here's a couple of options. So this is your football jersey, this is your full dive sublimation, huge amount of detail. This is your embroidery, this is a 60mm, you can see that's a huge amount of real estate on your shirt, but it's fairly simple in terms of the details that you're going to. Here's a couple of other ideas. So this was a digital transfer where trying to go onto a dark product, try to track colours underneath the screen print was going to be too difficult. So we just did this as a digital transfer. And there's two other different types of embroidery. Again, less is more. If you can get away with something which is quite small, it looks quite smart and quite distinguished. Whereas if you've got something which is huge, I don't know if everyone has the Ralph Lauren polo shirts, but that giant polo, I never understand why you have something which is absolutely massive. Here's a couple of photos. This is an event we went to, and it's not me trying to hide my face, it's trying to show you the detail onto the caps. So this is a simple t-shirt where we put a digital transfer onto it. Because I've got a lot of colours and a lot of detail in my logo, this is going onto the spray jacket that we did. So again, digital transfer. We've got embroidery, which is a little bit hard to see around the back here. So again, you've got a lot of real estate on items. We've got around the back, and then we've got a embroidery on the front there. Quick look at these are some options. Huge amount of detail in these, but this just gives you the idea of what you can do onto caps. So huge amounts of options, whether you do distress stitching, you do it on a sandwich peak, so you have, these are all sort of factory options, but you can put things into the sandwich on there, you can put something onto the peak here. So think about what it is you want to achieve. And again, this is on the back of the cap, and then you can also do on the inside of the cap. Now these aren't as stock products, these are as a custom indent. So quickly, this is a bit of a snapshot. We had two case studies. Just to mention, we had a sales team. They were a bunch of individuals essentially going out as a sales force. We put together a uniform for them, and so they transformed themselves basically from just a group of individuals. All of a sudden they started talking to each other a lot more. They then became part of a professional team. They all then looked far more professional. They started getting callbacks from their clients saying what a professional team they now look. That then reflected well on their business. The second case study is Joe's business, SVS. Now they are a premium workshop looking after premium cars, and they have clients that expect a certain level of service, professionalism, and therefore a look. So what are they looking for? They're trying to find something which reflects who they are and what they're all about. So we put together a range of uniforms for them, where you can see that all the technicians here have the logo. They also have their name on the right hand side. It's all in the same font, so it's all consistent. And the same thing with the office staff that they have here. They've all got, again, a shirt that has the logo on the left hand side and their name on the right hand side. Again, it's all about brand consistency so that they are looking part of a complete unit. Okay, so think about when you do something which is cheap, it's not going to look terribly good on you. Quality, rather get less, but of a better quality than get something which is huge, unless you're completely aware that it's going to be a once-off use, and you know what you're buying, and make sure it's practical. So if it's an outdoor wear, look at something which is moisture wicking as opposed to a cotton product. We can help you with all of those sorts of details, and just make sure you align it with your brand. That's pretty much it. So if you've got any questions, fire away. If not, let me know. No? Excellent. Well, I'd like to hear.